Time is tough. But every cloud has a silver lining. Together, we need to develop a positive vision to address challenges and difficulties our businesses face.
In order to face the current and future challenges of this industry, we have to work together. Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon. Welcome to Challenges for Caterers, our 4th episode. The show where we discuss all the challenges the catering industry, especially our Bangladeshi Indian catering industry is facing. We discuss with prominent members of the community, of the industry and business leaders, and how we can resolve our issues. Today is a very, very interesting show. I have 2 heavyweights so far. We've done 4 episodes, and today will be, I think, the most interesting one. Today's shows, we are going to talk about, especially, we're going to concentrate on skill shortages, immigration policy, and the staff shortages for the industry. And who better to represent the whole industry than on my right, my dearest, our beloved Mr. Pasha Khondokar, President of Bangladeshi Catering Association. And to whatever his needs are, whatever his questions are, and we are very lucky again to have Paul Scully, Right Honourable Paul Scully, MP, and he's the head of all-party group for the British curry industry. I simply call him the curry minister. Very simple, very easy.
Thank you.
So, welcome Paul, and welcome Pasha Bhai.
Thank you.
We have 1 hour show today, and Paul has to get back to the Parliament to do more important work than come to our show. Yeah. Yes, I think so. I'm going to go to Pasha Bhai and bring Pasha Bhai into the program and say, Pasha Bhai, so I hear that these days restaurants are closing down every day, especially our Bangladeshi Indian restaurant, due to staff shortages, skill shortages. What are you hearing from your 4,000 members that you have throughout the country, and what are the issues?
The thing is, Salim Bhai, thank you very much for inviting me to the show, and I'm extremely delighted to see Paul is here. He's a very good friend of ours for the curry industry, especially.
Well, he's the curry minister.
I'd like to correct it a little bit that it's not Bangladeshi or Indian catering industry, it is the British curry industry.
Okay.
Because we already established a fusion dish called British curry.
Great, and I stand corrected.
Yeah, and to be honest, I mean, like, it's exporting even abroad, this the curry, and it is curry loved by millions of people in this country. What you said about this, you heard about this, many restaurants closing. I'm not going to mention the name. There's a 2 survey been done by like your Eurofood or other big companies because they are the major stakeholder for this business. And the last statistics done by last week, it was nearly 11 restaurants closing every day, every week.
Every week. So 11 restaurants closing every week.
And thing is that this is going to go up and up because most of the restaurants are on the edge to close. Very, very bad. They're just scratching the walls, holding it slowly. The problem is, it hasn't been created for a day. It's a decade problems. Today, I'm going to speak for one issue is a skill shortage, yeah?
That's what today's show is about.
So if I say, we had all British Bangladeshi was working in this industry for many, many years. They're aging. A lot of people are aged. They're going out. The second generation, you know that, second generation, they're more educated. They don't want to come to this industry, and which I'm not surprised. If you look at the history of hospitality industry in this country, always is filled up by the abroad, the immigrant.
Filled up by the immigrant population coming in.
Even the think tank, People's Fast, yeah? The think tank People's Fast survey said it's always been filled up by these migrant peoples. So what I'm saying, this is a very, very dangerous time for the British curry industry. And we always say that don't think it is a curry industry's problem. Think it is a national problem because it's got millions of curry lovers in this country. And if you just ask anybody, it's become a part of British life. It's a part of British heritage. And it's not my only problem, not your problems. It's Paul's problem as well to save this industry.
So, Paul, can I just come to you? So, as you've heard from Pasha Kondokar, President of Bangladesh Catering Association, restaurants are closing every week due to staff shortages, 11 every week. The new generation or the next generation, second generation we call them, are not too keen to come into this industry. Maybe lack of training, lack of opportunity. Is pay issue? Do we pay enough? And the industry somehow did pretty well over the years because we used to get work permits and so on and so forth. All that stopped. What is the government doing? I mean, with the policies of the Tory government, is basically killing this industry off.
Well, first of all, Assalamu alaikum, and thank you very much for welcoming on. Thank you for welcoming me on to the show. It's fantastic to be here and to be able to speak about this really important issue. I think actually one of the issues, it's not particularly a party political thing actually, because the regulations started to tighten up back in 2008. So it was under the Labour government as well as the Conservative government, the coalition, and then the Conservative government. And so we actually need to look at this as a whole problem rather than necessarily wonder about the party politics of it. Pasha is absolutely right about the scale of and the importance of the British curry industry. It's one of the things that we do fantastically well as a country. We take in, we absorb the best of the rest of the world, and we make it British. We have its own character and absorb it as one of our own. So, as Pasha says, the British curry catering industry is very different from the Bangladeshi catering industry, the Indian catering industry, and these sort of things. It's all restaurants.
So how do we save it?
Okay, so first of all, we've got to establish the government know that a number of prominent British Bangladeshis and a lot of curry restaurant owners are concerned about this issue. So just to keep on talking about it in that same way won't be enough. What we need to do, and this is what I'm keen to do as a group in Parliament, working with the different federations, is to establish the exact scale of the problem. So we've heard about 11 restaurants closing a week. I'll be really interested to see the detail behind that report, because the Daily Telegraph talked about 2 restaurants a week closing. I've heard of figures that the curry industry...
Yeah, I think I can help you there, because you know my company serves 4,000 Indian Bangladeshi restaurants in the UK. I can easily get my company to do a survey to see how many closed down.
That'd be wonderful.
Pass it on to you. Once we give you this information, what will you do? How will you help the industry?
Right, what I then want to do is to work with the BCA, with the ACF, with the BBCA, and all of the other groups to actually come up with a solution that we can then present to government. This is a government that is actually trying to control immigration as a whole. But there are 2 facets to immigration that the government can control. There's immigration within the EU, which they have very, very limited control on.
You mean they have nil, zero?
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically,
so why is it limited? And they have no control.
Well, because we're trying to renegotiate that.
But you're trying to. At the moment, you have no control.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, but outside the EU, we do have control. You know, I'm a Eurosceptic. I actually believe that if we came out of the EU, we would have greater flexibility.
So you're going to join UKIP soon?
No, not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. I'm very pragmatic about it. But I do believe actually Britain's future would be better outside the EU for a number of reasons. But one consequence of that would be to give ourselves greater flexibility on determining our immigration policy with countries like Bangladesh, India, China, these sort of areas. And so therefore looking at the skilled chefs shortage. Now, at the moment, what the problem is, and bearing in mind, of course, the restaurant closures are not totally down to skilled chefs. There's a whole variety of reasons, but predominantly
it is a big factor. I mean, we have other issues like you know, big online companies attacking the restaurants. We have energy prices going up all the time. The restaurants cannot increase their prices. We have all the issues, but the key problem today that I hear from 4,000 of my customers is the lack of skill shortage. Now, Pasha bhai, remember we used to have students were able to work for 14 hours or 20 hours. Why has the Tory government stopped the students from working in the weekends? Because at least if they can work in the weekends, we can survive somehow. Why have that stopped?
Thing is, Paul, what I was saying that, I mean, like, You said the Daily Telegraph says 2 to 4 restaurant closing. That was my survey because I was interviewed by Daily Telegraphs. That is going up every day. Why? If we see 1 month later, it will be 20 restaurants closing every week.
Not going to be very good for news for me, I'm afraid.
Do you understand what I mean? It's because what you said, I totally understand that you have to go step by step. But this step you are taking now, it has to be very fast to save this industry.
For sure.
It has to be very fast. Government can do many things. First of all, you said it was from 2008. I agreed. Never ever any government recognized this industry. This industry's contribution towards the economy more than 4 billion. Forget about this economic contribution. Think about it, how much we contribute culturally to this country.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
And this is how many, you think about it, how many millions of tourists come in this country and they are planned to eat British curry. Yeah? So we are contributing many ways. Nobody recognizes us. Why they are not recognizing us, Paul? Do you know why they are not recognizing us?
No, tell me.
Because of a Labour government for
no. Because you believe me or not, the Parliament, the House of Commons, where you regulate the people's, you make the law and regulations. Doesn't matter we like it or not, we have to obey these things. Doesn't matter we believe it or not, we have to believe it. And we haven't got a good friend. I mustn't say that we got lots of good, sincere friends like you, who loves curry, who support our industry, who wanted to be part of us, but I'm afraid they all failed.
Well, now you have a curry minister, so government has done something. So can I just bring this on? I was just talking about the students. We have, you know, Paul, we have a lot of illegal migrant in this country from Asian origin and lots of students. To save the industry in a fast way, why can't you allow the students to work for 20 hours a week?
What, students from abroad?
Yeah.
I think this is something that we'll actually have to develop, and will have to be part of the solution that we come in.
That can quickly, that's a quick solution.
That's a quick fix, but actually it's not going to get through to the underlying thing, which you need skilled chefs. And one of the problems, as Pasha was saying, that the government has not really bought into this argument yet about the skills shortage. And actually, I think part of that is because when you speak to people in a wider audience, you speak to constituents along the way. And I know for me, because I've first been elected in May, that in my election campaign, immigration was by far the biggest issue along the way. But actually people will talk about...
I'm talking about the guys who are already in here.
Oh yeah,
so
but what I'm saying...
immigration issue.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because what I'm saying is that the people actually talk about, well, why can we not train people from already within the UK? And this is something that the government talked about 5 years ago, talking about curry colleges and these sort of things, but they've not really taken off.
Can I come back to that? You know, I was sitting on a lunch with a very close friend, actually, the current chairperson of the Tory party.
Yeah.
Okay. And I brought this up, and I was told, why aren't you guys bringing your children to this industry, your next generation to the industry?
Absolutely.
And I think I said that in Parliament, and when you invited me to the House of Lords, and I said, tell me, why isn't the English, the British population, their next generation going to pick fruits in the farms? All the farms in the United Kingdom, the fruits and vegetables are picked by Eastern Europeans.
By the migrant peoples.
Just like the British, English population who do not want to do that job. Our next generation do not want to do that.
And I can't force my son to do anything he doesn't like.
Absolutely. Shalim, my father was born in Burma, so when he came over here, when he was 18, with no money in his pocket, having worked on the docks in Rangoon and then finished off his apprenticeship over here, you know, the big thing that he had, like many migrants from Asian countries, education is absolutely all important. And the British Bangladeshis have done what they aspire to. They've educated their children really, really well. And so many of the next generation have gone on to become lawyers, doctors, bankers, IT consultants, and these sort of things. Of course.
Migrant society.
Salim Bhai, Jamie Oliver ran the chain, famous chef. What he said on television on that day, half of the business is closing because of the chef.
Yeah.
So it's not me only suffering.
Well, it's not just curry chefs. It is Chinese restaurants and other restaurants are having similar issues.
Can I turn this on to you for a minute? We us together, we are all you members, been running this industry successfully for for decades, for the last 40, 50 years. We haven't seen a successful chain developed. So if you look at, I can mention names like people like Harvester, where they've got successful chains, but I haven't seen anything develop like that in our sector, where you have a big, massive factory or a big kitchen where the food is being cooked. So you can have one skilled chef cooking for 300 restaurants. So how come nobody's done that?
Salim bhai, I'm glad that it hasn't happened. Why? You are talking about the positive way, I'm talking about the negative way.
Please.
Yeah, because this is the British curry industry based in this country, family business. And that's why we are so successful. We are not the giant people. We wanted to live in this country, making little money, serving the community, wanted to go closer to the community. Not like McDonald's Harvester.
But Pasha, is that not a problem? Because you're saying it's a family business.
Yeah.
So if it's a family business, you got your son, your daughter, everybody working in there.
Yeah,
right?
we tried.
Okay.
We tried.
I mean.
Yeah,
So
my father was a businessman.
fine.
Caterers,
So
yeah.
if you got your family and the family is working in there, so you're not paying the family properly or paying a lower wage.
The concept of family.
No, let me finish. Paying a lower wage. And is this the reason? Because the industry, maybe your prices are too low, maybe your profits are low, you cannot afford to pay higher to attract skills into the industry. Is this a problem the industry has?
Okay, fine. Why I don't want to discuss this thing because it was a skill chef issue today. Family business.
But still skills.
Yeah. Concept of family business has changed. Family business doesn't mean that your wife or your son or your kids has to be business in the business.
They're big family businesses.
Yeah. Big family business means you run a business through your family, you help the business, you create a business from outside or inside. What you said, why you cannot attract people. Look at this, today's skill. You got your name on the shortest occupation list, yeah, SOL. You need 29,750 to get a chef from outside.
So there's something does exist.
Yeah, that's.
That you can bring a chef from abroad.
I'm just saying this. A top chef in this country.
So why aren't you bringing chefs in?
Yeah, so let me finish, yeah? That's why a top chef in this country, and the People First, the think tank for this curry industry or for the industry, is saying, top chef in this country's wages is 24,000 something. My question, and I hope
and where did you get that figure from, 24,000?
People First.
People First.
People First. So my request to Paul, as he is the top man in the parliament for the curry industry, you can ask to the government minister, why do you want my curry house will pay 29,000? Why you can't pay the minimum wages and get people from abroad?
Well, there's a few things that have come out of that actually, because you're absolutely right, because the 29,000 figure is after accommodation and food as well.
Food
so
as
obviously
well. So it says about
the
40
salary
grand,
is actually a lot more than that.
Salaries
that's the net salary.
It's salary after bed and board. So you're right. The tier 2 visa is set
how much is the minimum wages
nowhere near
Paul,
market
how much is
value.
the minimum wages? £10?
£7?
So you're looking at a 40k pay to bring a chef in.
Essentially.
And that's why the industry is suffering.
Absolutely. So it's way above market rate. So the two just aren't compatible at all, which is why we've got to go back and say, look, this is the market rate. You're setting it here. This is just totally unsustainable. And make that case really, really clearly. Not just make the case, though, but come up with a solution. It may be about short-term visas. It may be about looking at students and these sort of things. What I don't want to do is sort of like make up something on the hoof, but I do want to go back with your help to the government, to James Brokenshire, the immigration minister, say, James, this is something that will actually fulfil your immigration needs as a policy, but it will actually save a number of curry restaurants. And when you're talking about saving them, I actually agree with Pasha very much on the fact that why don't you have these a chef cooking for 300 people? Curries have moved on so much over the last 30, 40 years. You know, when I was young, it used to be, you know, curry restaurants were places that people would, you know, English people will have a few beers and go in late at night and have
post-pub trade.
A curry, sort of curry base that could then become about 20 different 20 different meals. But now it's fine dining. It's more on the taste, and our palates have changed as a result, and more. You know, I hope that continues to develop. Sorry, but I was just going to say in conclusion to that if you just stack them high, as it were, and cook for 300 different restaurants, you're coming into another area of competition, which curry restaurants, as well as a number of restaurants, suffer from, and that's actually competing with supermarkets and ready meals.
Right. Let's stay there. We have run out of time for this session.
Right.
We're going for a short break. When we come back from the break, we'll keep up with the discussion. And today's show's aim is to find a solution for our industry so we can help the industry. See you in a minute.